Hello everybody. A guy who probably doesn't deserve 1,000 subscribers back, thanking you for 1,000 subscribers. This time I do actually intend to do something for it. I'm doing two things. Although I request that you watch this introduction first, but if you're desperate to not do that, there's timestamps in the description for each of them. I want to explain this really fast because I realize people don't have time to spare and don't want to waste their time, listening to me ramble on for ages. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to, because I appreciate all the subscriptions, I appreciate what's happened to me here, the luck I've gotten from this American Dad video. I'm gonna just read out all the names of my subscriptions. I'm gonna thank them individually. I'm gonna read them all out. All the public ones. I can't read out the private ones, but if your subscriptions are public, expect to be given some acknowledgement because I want to acknowledge my subscribers. And I realize again, this isn't an original idea. This is something that so many people have done, but I just think it's a pretty nice thing to do. It's pretty to actually acknowledge subscribers, each individual subscriber. It's something that I feel is a pretty just a pretty good thing to do. Second thing I'm doing, since the American Dad speedrun video is my most popular video, that's where I got more than 8% of my current subscribers from. I've had a lot of people asking me to do another speedrun similar to it. So I have decided to do another speedrun, and I realize this is some people, a lot of people think, oh, but the joke's dead, you're just being greedy, you're just trying to scrounge up more views. Whatever. I'm just doing this because I feel like, it's where all my subscribers came from. I feel like I owe it to them to give them some similar content of some sort. So I'm gonna be putting that. I'm gonna be doing that as basically a breakfast speed run. I don't know. This idea just came to me at some point. And I thought it'd be pretty cool. So if you want to see me read out my subscribers' name from all 1,000 of them, go here. And if you want to see me do a breakfast speed run in real life, go here. Okay, so one more thing I want to detail here, because at 1,000 subscribers you can get monetized, and I realized that I do intend to monetize some videos. However, don't think I'm just going to get greedy. I'm still doing YouTube just for fun. I don't really care about the money, but it's nice to have. I'll probably put the money towards making better videos if I get any. However, I'm not going to be getting much. I'm only going to monetize videos I feel are suitable for monetization. I'm not going to monetize any of my previous videos, only videos that I release from afterwards. And I had something else to say. Actually, no, that's better. Yeah. So I'm not going to monetize my previous videos, and I'm only going to monetize videos I feel, it's fair to monetize. I'm also not going to be trying to squeeze in as much ads as possible just to maximize revenue. Because again, I'm not trying to just get rich off of this. I'm doing this for fun. But I feel like getting money, I might as well. There's not really any reason for me not to, but there is a reason for me to not squeeze 5 ads into a 10-minute video. I'm not going to push a video over 10 minutes just to squeeze in more ads. I'm only going to have videos over 10 minutes if it's necessary, which most of the time it won't be. Content will be the same: memes, zombies, another game every once in a while. Just all over the place, because that's just what my channel is. Not this kind of thing wouldn't pick up. But this kind of thing is, it's not likely for this thing to kind of, take off. But it did. So thanks for 1,000 subscribers. And here's me, reading out my subscriptions. Yo, I can see myself. Okay, wow. You'll probably notice there's a substantial drop in the quality here, but that's just how it has to be. So this is all working, correct? Yes, this seems fine. So now I'm just going to read out every name on this list. I'm going to say thank you afterwards. And we'll see how it goes. Not all of these people will have been subscribed before 1,000. I don't know who my 1,000th subscriber is, but I'm going to look for it anyway. So, starting us off here with the most recent. Also, forgot to mention, if your subscriptions aren't public, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to thank you. Do know that I do still appreciate you. But I can't give you a direct thanks, as I don't know who you are, because you're simply not there, With that all said and done, now I can begin. So we're starting off with Una Reverse Card. I want to thank Una Reverse Card for subscribing to the channel. On top of that, I'd like to thank username 79 for subscribing to the channel. I'd also like to thank Juto Zero, Divwitzel, Paul Dead Harris, and Unknown 2234, all for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate all the help. Oh, now I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm an English speaker, so I unfortunately don't know how to pronounce that one. Heads up that I apologize if I've mispronounced your name. I'm pretty sure I've already mispronounced like 3 of them. And if I don't know how to say your name at all, then again, apologies. But at the very least, I can acknowledge you. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But thank you for subscribing. Thanks to Jordan Heilman to subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Samuel Cavalli for subscribing to the channel. I want to thank A&B Adventures M&B for their subscription. On top of that, I'd like to thank the Slick One PS4, Mad CEX, Segno, and God of Wind for subscribing to the A Herrero YouTube channel at youtube.com. I appreciate the subscriptions because, you know, it really does help me out. It's nice, you know, it's nice to feel like people are watching. Other people who've subscribed I want to thank is That German Pro, Hevsuit or HEV Suit, Real G, and Thames. I want to thank all of them for subscribing to the channel. Cameron McNeil. I want to thank Cameron McNeil for subscribing. I want to thank Joaquin Henderson for subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank the Black Phoenix for their subscription, offering the subscription to me. I appreciate that. I want to thank Auto Hunter. I really appreciate you subscribing. I'd like to thank Arcano DPA for, again, subscribing. I want to give a big thanks to Bird with Shoes Gamers, Bird with Shoes Games, Giacomi Passarani, Amari Hall, and Nugget Loki. All of them, I want to give a big thanks to them for subscribing. I'd also like to offer a big thanks to Pro Killer, Katsi180, and Mr. Jugopito, just as they offered me their subscription, because I really appreciate that. Yummy Snacks, Alvin Bayram, and Legendas MNL also are people who I want to thank for subscribing. I'd like to thank Dedito12, II Pinja YT, Maruan Bellari, Nasdaq the Wolf for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I want to thank Frosty Ghost for subscribing, and I'd like to thank Rhino's Domain for subscribing. Just as I thanked all the previous people, I'd like to thank Mana Rayo Nopase for subscribing. I would like to thank GameSaver1892 for their subscription to my channel. You know, I want to thank Matix Gamer 108 and then other emojis that aren't showing up on my laptop. I do still want to thank you, despite the fact that I can't see your full name. Thanks for subscribing. I'd like to thank Creeper Cave for subscribing. Dusty Gino, I see you there with your subscription, and I do appreciate that. Thanks for subscribing. And I do also see you too, Von Dios. I appreciate that subscription. Thanks for subscribing. What else have we got here? Maxime Researcher. Maxime Researcher. I don't really know if that's a ch or a k. But thanks for subscribing. And I would like to offer that exact same thanks to Piotrek Drywolski for subscribing. I want to thank Brass Tank for subscribing. I want to thank Mishi, Nelson Andre, and Nathan for subscribing. All the subscriptions really help out, you know. Really keeps my confidence going. Makes me feel like, makes me want to keep making videos, you know. I want to thank Andre Guz for subscribing. I'd also like to give a thanks to Ty's Life 2190 for subscribing. And I also want to subscribe. I also want to thank Gengar R41D for subscribing. And Samir, Clean the Goat, and Ian the Meme Man, all of them for subscribing. I want to offer thanks for that, because I do appreciate it, you know. I'd quite like to thank Kermit Frog for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Benjamin Lopez for subscribing, as well as Mright4444, again, for subscribing. I want to give a thanks to PortoTV_TV, because I do appreciate their subscription, and I want to thank them for that. I'd also quite like to thank Robert Lucas for subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Vinicius Ribeiro for subscribing. I'd like to thank the Butter Boss for their subscription. And I'd also like to thank Antu Gallardo for subscribing. And I also want to show appreciation to Zomboy Boy, Jaden Henderson, and Forter King for subscribing. Thank you. I want to thank Ray Rosewall. On top of that, I would also quite like to thank Lego Obi-Wan Kenobi for subscribing. Dazzle One Ning, or you know, Dazzling. I appreciate the subscription. I want to thank you for that. I'd also like to thank Digital Rebellion, Myzek2061, Miss Myzikowski. I might have butchered your name, but I still want to thank you just as much as everyone else for subscribing. I'd like to thank Javiera for subscribing. This is another one I might mispronounce. Matthias Lorenz. Again, apologies if I mispronounced that, but thanks for subscribing. I want to thank Furo Suo Ufmaster for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Logic Flame, Two Guns, and Mr. Azaline. I want to thank all three of them for subscribing to my channel. I want to thank N. Kolitsky for subscribing. I do appreciate the subscriptions. I appreciate everyone. Scientifically, I want to give a thanks to Scientifically for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Rome J, Albert Solkowski, Thathy the Human, and Neil Condetti for subscribing. It's pretty difficult to see these small letters with the sunglasses on. They really obscure your vision ever so slightly. I still need to thank Manuel Mello for subscribing as well. Thank you for your subscription. Oh, the loading time's slowing down. I want to thank Homeschool and Beyond for subscribing, and I'd also like to thank Danny Jr., Lucas Fazzini, and Stormy Sauce Butane for subscribing. I want to thank Gnome Legal for subscribing as well, and I'd also quite like to thank Cameron0M for subscribing. I'd like to thank Gamesake for the subscription as well. That's, you know, I appreciate the subscription. Thanks to Onanaki, you know, thank you for subscribing. Thanks to Park Spec for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to T Welsh for subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Vinicius GG for subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Orange Paprika 67 for the subscription. Oof. I'd like to thank Alex Ramos for your subscription. I do appreciate that. The Stormtrooper who drank PhD Flopper, I want to thank you for subscribing. I'd also like to thank Morgs Cox for subscribing. I do appreciate that. I want to thank this person for subscribing. I don't want to say rude words just yet. I mean, I suppose it's not rude. Well, no, it could be. I don't want to hurt anyone, you know. I don't want to say no bad words here. I'm considering monetization, as I've said. So I want to, you know, have a clean slate here. But thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. Thanks to Dedan Tanzil for the subscription. Thanks to Catulum for subscribing. And thanks to Kiramine123 for subscribing. I want to thank Malotini for subscribing, as well as PedroGamer409. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks to Jello Anthem, Brock Morishige, and Vicent Martin Arevalo Castro for subscribing. I do appreciate the subscriptions from you three. I want to take this time to thank JF, Mr. Gilk, Ugliest, Apollo 26, and Luciano Lima. I want to thank all four of them for subscribing to the channel. If you don't mind. I want to thank Shinobi Slayer. I want to thank Lyric XZZ for subscribing. I also want to thank Shinobi Slayer for subscribing. Just want to clarify both of them. I'm thanking for subscribing. Same reason. Deathicus_19. Thanks for subscribing. Javier GTZ. Thanks for subscribing. Walkman05. I appreciate the subscription. Thanks for that. Miguel Blocks. I do appreciate that subscription. Thanks. Clarence Peñas. Thanks for the subscription. I appreciate that. Thanks to Jadens for subscribing to the channel, and also I would like to thank eSplacker9573 for subscribing. I'd like to thank Joe Mama for subscribing to the channel. That's something that I do. I gotta say I appreciate that subscription just as much as I appreciate a subscription from Skull Crusher. I do appreciate you subscribing. Thanks for subscribing. I also want to say thanks to Sandur for subscribing. You know, it really, as I've said before, subscribing to the channel really makes me gives me the confidence to keep posting videos, and gives me the, you know, helps me keep posting videos, helps me get the motivation. Just as much as A55 Kiko has subscribed, You know, he's motivated me, so I want to thank him for that. I'd also quite like to thank Connor Northville for the exact same reason, that being for subscribing to my channel. Max Adamian, I do see you there. Thanks for subscribing. Luke B, if you so long as no one minds, I would like to thank him. I would like to thank Luke B for subscribing, just as I'd like to thank Pure Meme, North or N0 or RTH if you really want to get panicky, Jekuru22 and Tyler Forino, all of them for subscribing. I want to thank Jet James for subscribing. I'd quite like to thank Ice Juarez Bautista for subscribing. I want to thank Ryan Bateman Creeper Gaming 2.0 for their subscription to my channel, and I'm going to thank M Payne for subscribing too. Thanks to Sebastio Gamer for subscribing to the channel. Mr. Giovanni XY, thank you for subscribing. Kenny Dunham, thanks for subscribing. Creamed Pop Tart, yeah, I appreciate the subscription, thank you. Kaijumon54, thanks for subscribing. Video Game Epic, I want to thank you for subscribing, I appreciate it. The Riolu of TV Studio is another channel which I'd like to thank for the subscription, just as much as I would like to thank Matt, Malteser Girl, Hamgoro, and Anthony Duran for subscribing. I appreciate it, guys. Okay, I think I lost track of what I was saying there. I had brain fart. I want to thank Matthew Simpson for their subscription. I do appreciate that. I'd also like to thank Clippy, you know, for subscribing. Thank you. Joe Wilds, thanks for subscribing. Todd Howard, thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. Tharuddin Alik, thanks for subscribing. And Jonathan Stevens, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the subscription. I want to thank Rezarx for subscribing. I'd also quite like to take this time to thank Noir Oxide and Quathar Dos Animes for subscribing. I want to thank Noel Osuna XD for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Golden Kills for subscribing. I want to give a thanks to Ernesto Lopez for subscribing to the channel. I'd like to thank Liam Raffling for subscribing. Big thanks to OK Boomer for their subscription to the channel and their contribution. I appreciate the subscription. Thanks to Muffin Man for subscribing, and I also want to thank Solo Top Player Only for subscribing to the channel. Yeeb Zero, I'm going to take this chance right here to thank you for subscribing. Thanks to Bup for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to Jack Raiden for the subscription, and I want to thank Georgius for subscribing. Burrito with a Brain, thanks for subscribing. Yummy, I want to thank you for your subscription as well. Big thanks to Morgan Johnson, Void KM, and Elzak Acherino. I want to thank all three of you for your subscriptions. I'd also like to thank Bass Boosted Memer for subscribing. I'd also like to thank Average Bunny for subscribing. I want to give a thanks to Gabriel Basso for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'd also like to thank Emmanuel Romano for subscribing. I'd quite like to thank Vemomat and Cinnamon Arrow 45 for subscribing to my channel. That is something that I appreciate. I'd also like to thank Johnson Gonzalez Diaz for subscribing. I'm going to take this chance right here just to quickly thank Fonchi and Aiden for subscribing. And then thanks to JBoss700 for subscribing to the channel. Silvio Baridon, thank you for subscribing. James Cumbria, I also have to offer my thanks to you for subscribing to the channel. Egg, thanks for subscribing. I'd also like to thank 3 more lives for subscribing. Bray and Kriesvin for subscribing. Mdej for subscribing. And I'd also like to thank Lebo Garthon for subscribing. Thanks to EasyClapX for subscribing. Thanks to KYS_Kiss_Pro for subscribing. Thanks to Eric D, a White King / a 1T3 King, again if you want to be panicky. and BN18181818 for subscribing. There might have been 118 too many, I'm not sure. Apologies if it was, but thank you. I'm going to thank Kyle Jones for subscribing to the channel right here. Just as I'm going to thank Gecko for subscribing. And since I've got the time, I'm also going to thank Lord Big Mac 69 for subscribing. While I'm at it, I'm going to take this chance to thank Nonplussed Flame, Spinning Honey, and Edgy Fagatini for subscribing. I'd also like to thank Uwo for subscribing. I'd like to thank Jose Camacho for subscribing. I'd like to thank Andres Meledo for subscribing, and I'd like to thank Exo PVZ Player for subscribing. I'm going to thank Keygirl2000 for subscribing to the channel, and I may as well thank Fernando Renero for subscribing, since I do appreciate it. I'm going to thank Javs, thank you for subscribing, and then Shonen Hohi, thank you for subscribing. Ugliastic, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Kevdu, I wanna thank you for your subscription to the channel here. Jean and Heckert, thank you for subscribing. Thanks to Burnt Popcorn for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to Sonic CD fan number 123 for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to Daban Table Gamer for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to Christian Magiacomo for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Thanks to Gregory K. That was a disgusting noise. Thanks to Gregory K for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to D4C for subscribing. And thanks to Oh Hey It's Joe again for subscribing. I want to thank Texas Gamer 5 for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Steko, Sky Scorpion O, Melon and Cheth, and Furkian Kos for subscribing. I do appreciate it. I see each and every one of you, and I appreciate the subscription. I want to thank JDW159 for subscribing. I'm also going to offer my thanks to Rainstorm Wind Clan for their subscription. I'm going to thank Flop for subscribing to the channel, and as well as that, I'm going to thank A Dude Man Guy for subscribing. I'd also like to thank T Shevlin for subscribing. I'm going to thank Pop Spaceman for subscribing, and I want to offer my thanks to Popper Pop for subscribing. I'm going to thank Snoozing Ghost for the subscription to the channel. Is this okay? Turns out my footage bugged out there. Don't know what that was about. I think I was on. Okay. Thanks to Snoozing Ghost for subscribing to the channel. Thanks to Taylor Allen for their subscription to the channel. I appreciate it. Thanks to Mamod3413 Hassan for subscribing. I appreciate that. I want to thank Aaron Douglas and Alyssa Hitter for subscribing. I'd quite like to thank Black Girls and iHeart Keycats for subscribing. I think that would be a good time to thank Moan King, FR and Stu Fitz for their subscriptions, just as much as I want to thank KP Stup, Luminous Girl and your Moore for subscribing to the channel. I want to thank Furious26, Ewan McFadgen, Yomi Lou and Sam Frosty all for subscribing. I'd quite like to thank ZR for subscribing. I want to thank Nady for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. I'd like to thank Bogey Collector for offering the subscription to me. I appreciate it. I want to thank Fregu QC Zombie for subscribing. And I'd also like to thank Keith Bleresma for subscribing. I'd like to thank F Razor, Y and Connor Sinclair all for subscribing. I do appreciate that. I want to thank Adam for subscribing. I'd also quite like to thank Field Skylar and Jonathan Bryceland for subscribing. Is that it? I swear it went further last time I checked. Apparently that's all, but I'm pretty sure I've missed out at least one, because I know there's more than that. It just seems to have stopped. If I do that, I know I've not thanked the Wacky Weevil yet, so thanks to the Wacky Weevil. Let's see if I can see any more here from beyond a year ago that I've not thanked yet. Is that really it? I swear there's more, but I guess not. Oh no, Slackercrafts HD. I want to thank Slackercrafts HD for subscribing. That might be it now, but we'll see. We'll see. As I scroll through this, I'm gonna start doing my, I'm gonna start doing my roundup. I'm gonna start doing my conclusion, and if I see anyone else, I will thank them. So following this, there will be my breakfast speedrun meme, which I've done for all people, because I know everyone, the majority of these people looking at the time spans will see subscribe from the American Dad video. As I said in the beginning, I feel like whether or not you think the joke's dead, I feel like I do need to make at least something, So that's what I've done. For those who are interested, if you keep watching, you'll find the breakfast speedrun meme. And yeah, thank you all for subscribing. I do appreciate it, and I wanted to take this time to thank each and every one of you that I possibly could thank. Apologies to everyone who I couldn't thank, whether it be that I've simply not been able to see your name because it's just not showing up, or your subscriptions aren't public. Either way, I still appreciate you just as much as each other for subscribing. Thank you.